good ones you can inhale repeatedly. They're really nice, but these are old-fashioned. So what we can do is we can measure all the outflow. We can't measure the inflow. So if you're sitting here breathing, trying not to fall asleep while I'm lecturing, your air is moving in and out, and you're not thinking about your breathing, that's the tidal volume. You're moving about half a liter or 500 cc's in and out, in and out, in and out, every time you breathe in and out, in and out. And so that's what's represented here. We're starting about in the middle of this meaning we've got about 2,500 cc's of air in our lungs right now while we're breathing in and out. You're not breathing like a paper bag going from completely empty to full, completely empty to full, right? You're kind of half full already and not even going completely full. You're just back and forth in the middle of it. And then if you inhale, exhale, we're moving a half a liter, and we can measure that by kind of figuring out what our breathing's doing and then putting the spirometer in our mouth and just letting the air go out. That would be a normal exhalation. That's very difficult, and that's where a lot of people go wrong, because when you stick the tube in your mouth, a lot of people go, they did this, and then they blow out, and so you can have a huge tidal volume. So you have to kind of measure how much you're doing in and out, and then put it in your mouth and just kind of go and let that air out. If it's not 500 cc's or 400 cc's, fudge the data or it'll throw everything else off, okay? The other thing that people do is even if they're breathing normally and they don't go, when they put it in their mouth, they feel like they have to blow, and then that's all, not just normal passive expiration. So I kind of measure my chest, how much is going up and down, how much is going in and out. When I inhale, I put it in my mouth and I let it out, 500 cc's. If you're gonna inhale and exhale, inhale, and about to exhale, before you do, you can go and suck a whole lot of air in. That's called your inspiratory reserve volume. It's above and beyond what you're normally moving. And that gives us a whole lot of room to take air in, or in this case, 3,000 cc's or 3 liters. Some of you might be only 2,000, some people are maybe 1,800 or 1,500, but it's a lot. So you know, up to 6,000. A guy like me, my age, I think I got a lung capacity of about 4,000, vital capacity of 4,000. So I'd be going up to the 5 here. So we can't measure that because these are wet spirometers. If you inhale, you'll get a mouthful of gross fluid. Don't do it. Okay, it's just water. But you only want to blow through these things. So we can do our vital capacity, or excuse me, our tidal volume, just in and out. We can do our vital capacity. That's how much air you can blow out in one big breath. So if I said, here's a balloon, I want you to blow it up in one breath. You go, blow it all out. That should be about 4,000. I have 5,000 because I'm dreaming. But for you, it might be like even 2,500, 2,800, 3,000, somewhere in there. And you want to do that, and then you actually want to check the predicted. The predicted is based off your sex, your age, and your height. You can calculate it and see male, female. And so when I look on here, and I look for, I'm 7'2", and I'm 21 years old. So my liter capacity is 4,500 cc's. So do it for your biostatistics, and then you can plug it into the formula in the lab. It's basically what you blew divided by the predicted times 100, and you'll be like, hey, I'm only 75%. That means your lung capacity is not where it should be. And that's not good. Or if you blow 100, somebody blew 105% of the predicted. That means their lungs are in good shape. So you can do this. Big breath as possible. Blow it all out. And that's your vital capacity. You can check your expiratory reserve volume, which is like your inspiratory reserve volume, but in reverse. So instead of inhaling, you're going to exhale the reserve volume that you have left in your, it's hard to talk and blow these things out. So you're going to sit there quietly, breathe in and out, in and out, in and out, in, out. I'm just about to breathe in, put it in your mouth, and then you force blow out. That's the stuff that you have left over in your lungs, expiratory reserve volume. Your expiratory reserve volume, I have 2.5 liters here and only 1 liter, so it's less. You have a lot more capacity to inhale than you do to exhale when you're just in the normal breathing mode. So if you calculate your numbers and it comes out where your IRV is smaller, you did something wrong. Your IRV should be larger. So we can check the ERV because that's blowing out, expiratory reserve. We can check the vital capacity because that's blowing out, and we can check the tidal volume. And if you look, here's the IRV, here's the vital capacity, here's the ERV, tidal volume. If you add up the ERV the tidal volume and subtract it from the vital capacity, you get the IRV. One more time. This plus this plus this is the vital capacity. So we can figure this out, we can figure this out, and we can figure this out. Vital capacity is all three of these put together. If you solve for your IRV, you just take your vital capacity, you add the ERV and the tidal volume together and subtract it, and you can get your IRV. So I want you to do that and turn it in so I know that you got it, figured out what you did, figure out you're doing it right. And then I also want you to, that's the IRV, I want you to turn in your vital capacity ratio. So you have to check your vital capacity, part of figuring this out, and then you have to look up what your predicted is to see if you're close to that or not. Okay, so it takes a little bit of practice to do these things. You can work in groups, get them done. Everybody wants to do their own, so you can calculate it and turn it in. Make sure you get a number where your IRV should be a lot bigger than your ERV. And I'll help you if you need any help. The couple questions in your lab manual regarding the pig lungs, you should come over here and inflate it and take a look at it, see what it does. And then the tissue slides, last time we looked at them, we looked at the lung and we looked at the trachea when we were doing simple squamous and pseudostratified epithelium. So you don't have to pull them out, you don't have to draw them, but you should be familiar with those tissues because the respiratory epithelium is the pseudostratified columnar epithelial cells with goblets. Okay? When we take the quiz, or excuse me, when we take the lecture test, they're going to talk about the respiratory epithelium and the respiratory membrane, and you don't want to get those mixed up. The respiratory membrane is on the lung tissue. It's thin squamous epithelial cells, and the trachea is the pseudostratified columnar epithelium. So if you want to get them out and look at them to remind yourself, oh yeah, this is what we're looking at, and lock it in your brain, I would, but you don't have to draw anything, so you don't have to do it. So you got to do the spirometry, you should look at the pig pluck here, and then you can do whatever you want after that.